Commence primary ignition.
Hey there, fans and collectors. Welcome to another episode of Binary Sunset Review. I am Mike, and today we're taking a look at ARC Trooper 5s. Now, he is part of the newest Vintage Collection line that is hitting stores out around you and will be shipped to you if you pre-ordered them in the next month or so. I'm very excited to take a look into this clone. He's an ARC Trooper. He's one of my favorites. Let's get going.
Incoming! Clankers!
All batteries return fire.
Now, it is a clone trooper, he is an ARC Trooper, and it is a carded version of the special action figure pack that we just saw this summer at the convention. If you pre-ordered this should be showing up to your doorstep in the next couple of weeks or at the end of the month, but surprise, surprise, it is showing up at Targets and some Walmarts across the country. So keep your eyes peeled, check out those shelves for this amazing figure. Here we have the front of the box for ARC Trooper 5s. We have the Clone Wars title in the center of the Star Wars silver double piping. We have that silver piping going around the outside of the box with a stylized animated image of 5s on the front. Now, this particular character came directly from the animated Clone Wars series, so it is typical and pretty great to have a stylized art image in the front because we don't have a live action image. I like seeing these translations from the animated clone that we know and love to a more live action design. This figure does feature the new photoreal face design, so for one of the first times, we can really see the Jango face on this clone, and I think that is particularly something to celebrate. We have the Kenner logo on the bottom. We have the yellow title in the card back up there. The color scheme for the Clone Wars is yellow, and it does pop nicely with the blue armor and the white that he's wearing. The back of the box is similar to the rest of the Vintage Collection designs. We have the newest wave up on top with the last wave on bottom. We have the standard 8 figures that are on the back with the Vintage Collection logo, the Star Wars piping around those figures, as well as the Disney and Hasbro logo in the bottom. The colors that are used in the card backs do seem to share the same trend between movies, films, and shows. Now, I mentioned before that yellow was a color scheme used in the Black Series and might also be used throughout Vintage Collection designs from the Clone Wars, and that is confirmed here because if we remember, our last wave had Clone Commander Wolf, and he also had the same yellow color scheme. We can also doubly confirm that by last month's wave of K2SO, who was from the movie Rogue One. We have him in that kind of wintergreen shade behind, and Chiru Inway, who's a figure in this newest wave, also shares that olive green shade. It's nice to see that we're having some consistency to the organization of how the boxing is done for these Vintage Collection figures. This is nice for collectors who choose to display their figures in the box and who decide to group them together not based on their numbering, but based on their film release. First impressions are how pleasantly surprised I am. A, by the expansion into more of the Clone Wars figures, and B, by the further expansion into the depth of the Republic's elite troopers. Originally in Legends, these figures were all trained by Mandalorians. The Kul Vadar, these are hand-picked Mandalorians that were chosen by Jango Fett to train this new army of the Republic. That has changed since Disney has taken over, and Dave Filoni's spin on the Clone Wars, which I love to my heart's full content, he has changed the backstory for the ARC Troopers. So not only were they not trained by Mandalorians in Disney canon, but they were picked from normal squads and trained to be ARC Troopers. Now, whereas I really don't like this change in the Legends and the story, I really do appreciate this change in the design and the look of the ARC Troopers from when they were originally brought up. From Legends, ARC Troopers were direct clones of Jango. Now, every one of the clones in the Grand Army is a clone of Jango, but all of the normal foot soldiers have had some of their aggressive tendencies and original thinking reduced. So in the original canon, the Legends ARC Troopers are exact clones of Jango. So just like Boba Fett, they are as free-thinking, as dangerous, and as competent as Jedi killers as Jango Fett was. This is really important to the old design of Order 66 and the old plan that went into place in terms of Order 66 happening and the transition of the Republic into the Empire. I really do miss the old Legends history of the ARC troopers. In Dave Filoni's Clone Wars, these troopers aren't genetically different, they are just more skilled troopers that are picked throughout the divisions. I really, really do miss the added bonus and extra story of the Kaminoans having different generations and different variations of the Django clone. Here are some examples of some of the unique face designs with their helmets off that comes with the ARC troopers. Their facial hair, as well as the designs and expressions on their face, are unique to each different design, and it's a nice constant that we see throughout the generations of these ARC troopers. ARC Trooper 5s continues the great tradition of 3.75 ARC troopers. Now here we have the small collection of the ARC troopers through the ages. A couple of things have stayed consistent through the generational changes of the ARC troopers design. The comma that they're all wearing around their waist to represent their Mandalorian training, as well as all of them carrying dual pistols to honor Jango Fett. Now these pistols, the design of these pistols has changed over the years. It's gone from the original Scout Blaster design to the more Cartoon Network Clone Wars box-like design of the DC-15. The new designs for the ARC troopers in the Vintage Collection have them outfitted with the entire arsenal that the Grand Army of the Republic has. He comes with the DC-15 long rifle, the DC-15 carbine, the DC-15 pistols, as well as enough armament and backpack equipment where he can wear all of these weapons without having to change them out. It is interesting to me, though, because on the previous wave, we had the Phase 1 clone trooper from Attack of the Clones, and that clone came with, obviously, the DC-15 carbine and the long rifle, but the designs and paint scheme for those were better than this one. The detailing on the rifle not only was better painted with the metallic sections being painted in chrome, but the painting also extended to some of the nuts that held together the rifle. So it was interesting that it was kind of a one-time show with the clone trooper. That clone trooper was out of the park, amazing, and I wish that we would see the same paint scheme and detail for the weapons on the newer designs of clones in the Vintage Collection. His pauldron and chest armor is also removable. I didn't take that off as an accessory, but it's nice that this figure really comes kitted out with 6 different accessories you can take off and arm him with. Alright, let's talk some articulation for Vintage Collection ARC Trooper 5s. Now this figure has pretty advanced articulation, as is seen for most Vintage Collection figures, and we have some updates, which I am pleased to report. Now, the newer Vintage Collection figures, starting from the feet on down, they have ball and toe feet articulation, which means that they can point their feet like a ballerina, they can get down on their knee. It really, really adds to some very advanced designs and poses you can put them in. These ARC Troopers are weighed down with a whole lot of armament. They have most of the weapons that make the Grand Army of the Republic as dangerous as they are. And, that being said, they have a lot of stuff on their waist. And I am proud to say that this really doesn't hold back the articulation. Now, his legs do spread, he can spread them wide, he has thighs that turn on out. I know we've had some problems with that with armored figures, but I am pleased to say that he has fully rotating thighs, fully rotating a knee joint. He doesn't have the butterfly knees, but as we saw with other Clone Wars figures, there is a change to the knee armor where there used to be 3 different sets of plastic and it is now 2, which helps on the balance and also helps on just how you would arrange the figure in general. It makes it much easier to take a knee. It also makes him much more stable when he's standing in. Now, this is probably some of the best articulation I've seen for modern armored troopers, and I am very pleasantly surprised to see these updates in the newest Vintage Collection figures. His face is highly detailed. It comes with his unique facial hair, as well as the tattoo of the 5 that's on his right forehead. That denotes his nickname. He is CT5555 and is appropriately nicknamed 5s. His head is a ball and swivel. It can go all the way around. He does have some neck articulation also, so we can give him some inflection when he's wearing the helmet and when he's not wearing the helmet. Very nice update. I really hope they continue to do this with most of the other troopers. ARC troopers are some of my favorites in the history of the canon and legends. They are amazing elite troopers of the Republic's Grand Army, and I am so happy that we're getting expansions into these figures and deeper dives into what that division is and how awesome they were. Pros and cons for this figure. A big pro is if you missed out on getting the convention exclusive special action figure 3-pack of all the ARC troopers, you can finally get your hands on at least one of the 3. And to be honest, Fives is one of my favorite ARC troopers throughout all of the Clone Wars series, so huge pro that we're getting one of our favorites and a really special clone to our heart on a VC card back. Another big pro is that we have seen several years where the Clone Wars and the clones in general have not been on the radar for Hasbro. It is really, really nice that with the final season of the Clone Wars, with all the other things in the last year, Hasbro really has put some unique designs and variations to their clone troopers. It's really great that Hasbro is expanding their line of clones. We haven't really seen any variations or any real diving into the depths of the Clone Force for over 10 years now. I remember the last time that we saw tons of great variations of clones was with the 30th anniversary celebration and collection, and that was 13 years ago. I would certainly recommend this figure. He's a great addition to anyone's force. He really helps fill out the 501st Division, and we are finally getting all the clones that we've dreamed of. Definitely check your stores. He's showing up in shelves. He's also available to pre-order across Dorkside, Entertainment Earth, and Big Bad Toy Store. I don't know when you're going to get them if you pre-order, so definitely be checking the shelves first. I'll try to look for the UPC and the DCI code, and I'll put those below, but be sure to keep your eyes open. I hope that everyone can find theirs out there in the wild. By becoming a Patreon member, you can influence what episodes we shoot next, have access to exclusive downloads, and support this channel on a whole nother level. Thanks for watching another episode of Binary Sunset Review. I've been Mike. I hope you've enjoyed this in-depth review of ARC Trooper 5's VC 172 on the new card back. Have a great day out there, stay safe, stay sane, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.
I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe.